Hey, basketball fans. So we just got news that Zion Williams just might be coming back from his injury. Now, this is obviously NBA 2K. This is not highlights that you've seen 6 trillion times on the internet. And what we are doing here in this game, just really quickly to brief what this video is just basically a 2K, me playing Zion Williams. And today we're going to be talking about why I personally think he's making a big mistake. So, just as a quick background on myself, I am a basketball trainer here in Hamilton, Ontario, and you can check out my other YouTube channel, Basketball Coach Allen, with all of my credentials and information if you wanted to see what I have done. Now, personally, I have torn my ACL, MCL, and meniscus. And that is a very painful injury, and I've had 2 knee surgeries, so I know what it's like to try and come back from a major injury like Zion Williamson is right now. Now, with his injury, it is what I would classify as a major injury, and for him to come back this early, like quite literally he is coming back 6 months early from his injury, and that is a huge step. Like, don't get me wrong, that is a huge step, and we've all seen those quick highlights on ESPN where he is running like an old man. And that's basically what happens after you've been injured and you haven't done much in the last couple of months. And what's going to happen? A couple of things could happen. He could be totally fine. He is a very strong, muscular dude. He is a very strong guy who has a ton of muscle, who should be able to come back from an injury like that earlier, but the size he is at with his weight is what is scary. Now, the knees are a very vital part of a basketball player's body. Those give you your stability. Those basically take most of the grind, I guess you could say, when it comes to running and jumping, and that's a very big factor when you're talking about somebody who is as big as Zion Williams. And we have to keep that in mind. We've all seen what happened last finals with Kevin Durant. He came back early from his injury. Now, he may have had that torn. He might have had a slightly torn Achilles. We don't know. Nothing was really released about it, but he, at the very minimum, had a pull in his Achilles. And when you're talking about parts of the body that take a lot of stress when you're playing basketball, you're talking about a very, very big chance that now you're risking further injury. We're all making fun of Kawhi Leonard taking his time off and not playing that many games. We're all making fun of him, but we don't know his situation. It might be worse than it actually really is. Or there is that flip side where he's just taking precautions so that he doesn't get injured any further. Because believe me, injuries really do suck. So, as we all know, Zion Williamson is coming back from injury possibly earlier. There is a rumor stating that he's coming back over the next couple of days. Now, the one thing I don't want to see happen to him, considering that he is supposed to be the next LeBron James type of player, is the fact of him coming back from injury early, saying, I'm good, and one of 3 things happening. Of course, like I was mentioning earlier, one thing is just nothing happens, he's fine, and he plays like pre-injury Williams. Or the second option is he comes back, he plays a game or 2, and he's injured once again. And then there's the third option, and that's what I'm going to get into right now. The third option is Zion Williams could come back, he could maybe play maybe every other game or maybe every third game, or he may play every game except for back-to-backs. And he may be trying to get himself back into shape, which is great. He may be trying to get just basically in-game reps down, taking it light. But we're now looking at a Pelicans team that is definitely not a contender for the playoffs. And a team that is definitely not going to be hindered or affected in any way by his return. So even if they start winning a ton of games, and the one player, like Zion Williamson, might make a difference, but is one player really going to make a difference in a team that just snapped out of their 13-game losing streak? No, that's not going to happen. He may help with maybe 2 or 3 wins for the rest of the season, but is it worth risking another injury? That's the question you have to think to yourself. Is it really worth a second injury, minor or major, for him to come back? I understand the whole fact of, hey, he's coming back just to get in-game reps and that kind of thing, but I can tell you right now, an NBA game is not like your regular high school. It's not like your regular pickup game. You're playing against other pros who are good for one, who are super athletic. They're a professional for a reason, and the reason is they are super athletic. But also, you're playing against players who want to win. And I'll tell you right now, when I play pickup basketball at the YMCA, I don't play professionally anymore. I can't. I effed up my knee. But when I'm playing at the YMCA and somebody says, I rolled my ankle yesterday, I'd say, well, right or left? And if they say right, or if I've noticed it beforehand, then guess which side I'm going to be attacking when I'm driving towards the rim? Yeah, that side that they injured. Well, everyone knows what Zion Williamson injured. So, why not attack that side? Attack his weakness. Which now, of course, players want to win. Both going for that offensive player as well as Zion Williamson himself. And when a player wants to win on the defensive side and you're the one who's injured, you're going to be pushing yourself even harder than what your body can handle, because you want to win. Whether or not you're injured, your mind is going to forget that you're injured. And you're going to do the exact same stuff as you normally would when you're not injured. And that's how you get further injuries. Meanwhile, players who are playing against him, and they're on the offensive side, they're going to know, hey, it's that leg. I'm going to try and attack that leg. Now, if it's their right leg, let's say the player I'm playing against, it's their right leg, I'm attacking their left side because they're not going to be able to push off as fast with that other leg. So that's what you're going to be seeing in the NBA, and if you don't, I would be super surprised if you don't see players attacking Zion Williamson like that. So these are the things that can go through a player's mind, the players who are playing against him. And also, the player himself, Zion Williams. Personally, if I was Zion Williams, this is what I would do. If I was cleared to play by the doctors, I would really be questioning the doctors first off. Because we've all been there that we want to get back on the court. I've been there. But if I was a player of his age, I might be that type of player who would say, just get me on the court, doc. I want to get on the court. But I would really be questioning Zion if I was the doctor. I'd be really questioning him and saying, do you really want to risk this? And if I was Zion Williams, I would say, do we really want to risk this? Do we want to just run full practices, get ready for next year, play in the summer league one more year, Let that be your in-game warm-up. You'll have a couple of preseason games. Practice with the team or with your higher level friends throughout the summer. That's a fantastic dunk by Zion, by the way. We came back in this game. We were playing as the Ringers. The Ballers are currently winning. These are just the Pelicans players in this game currently playing. It's not like a online game or anything. We just kind of got 10 players from the Pelicans and stuck them against each other. I was playing and trying to get Zion Williamson to score most of the game. That's why we're losing. I was kind of isolating him against the defensive players. But there's no real way for Zion Williamson to really hide. So he is obviously a dunker. We just seen back-to-back dunks by Zion. Obviously he's a massive dunker. Obviously he has some shooting skills, but there's no real way for him to hide. Because he's going to be if you're the Pelicans, he is going to be your best defender. There's not many players at his level, pre-injury, who could defend in the NBA the way he probably can, healthy. But when we're looking at it, where is he going to hide on defense? There really isn't anywhere. You can't stick him on a crap player offensively, because guess what's going to happen? They're going to then do a screen and roll, make them switch. A strong screen and roll will make them switch. And now, just like how the Raptors and many other NBA teams are doing against weaker defensive players like Vince Carter, for one. He's still okay, but he is in his 40s. But other weaker defensive players, Carmelo Anthony for one, they're doing screen and rolls, getting the switch, and now you have a strong offensive player against a weaker defensive player, or at least an injured player in this case. And there's not going to be much that they can do. Now, offensively, there's not really much that Zion Williamson can do when it comes to hiding. And I don't mean hiding as in not trying to score. What I mean by hiding is stuff that I do now, which is try and run a screen and roll to get a weaker defender on me, because now they're figuring out that I can actually score at the YMCA, and they're throwing better defenders on me, and I'll run a screen and roll to try to get a weaker defender on me. Obviously, I can't drive to the rim as well as I used to be able to, so if I have somebody who's quicker than me, I can try to do a one-dribble crossover where I can take a step back and get my shot. That's my version of hiding, trying to get a jump shot. Another version of hiding is running off of a screen and roll off ball, get that ball off of a screen and roll, like receiving a pass, and jacking up a three. Now I can shoot. I can shoot really well. Zion Williamson, he's not really known for shooting really well. So is there a way for him to hide on the court without really risking himself another injury? Is there a way to get another player to come onto the court? Because they don't have anybody right now who can take over a game. Zion Williamson can. We've seen that when he was playing for Duke. But is there a way for them to find another player on their team to say, hey, we don't want Zion Williamson to take over the game just yet, because obviously we don't want to risk any further injuries. His brain is going to be telling him one thing and his body is going to be saying hell fucking no. So maybe this might be a good thing for the coach to say, hey, we need other players to really take over a game, because we all know Lonzo Ball isn't doing much at all this year. Like, what's he got? 10 points? Like, five assists, 10 points or something like that? That's a hell of a dunk by Zion right there. We did make our way back in this game, but we still lost. Again, trying to focus on one player. NBA 2K tries to really figure out what you're trying to do, and they try to stop you. I'm going to be doing a video soon, later on, another day, with LeBron James and me explaining why LeBron James is an absolute god in NBA 2K. Because, like, have you ever played as LeBron James? Super easy to get 80 to 90 points a game. Which, in this game, we tried to do with Zion, and it just did not work. So, maybe the game is telling us something. Who knows, right? Anyways, I hope that you've been enjoying this video. As you can see that we got destroyed. Zion Williamson is not able to take over a game in NBA 2K. And I hope that he does not get injured, because I would really like to see Zion Williamson play in a game in the NBA fully healthy. There's so many players recently at his size that didn't get to play that long because of injuries. And he is one of those players that I would like to see not get injured and get to play a full game. Because I think that he could really take over a game. I think he could be the player, what I've been searching for, who's going to be changing the whole premise and thought of the NBA needing to have three-point shots into saying, oh crap, we need a low-post defender, because not many teams have that. I hope that you've enjoyed. I will see you guys next time.